How's it going, connectors? Welcome to another fresh episode of Staying Connected, where we seek stories that connect us with one another. There's too much emphasis on differences that we forget that we're just one big community. We seek to learn about life lessons, experiences, setbacks, and vulnerabilities of one another, and we're here to share through open and honest conversations. How's it going, guys? I am Kenny.
And I am Scott. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into one of my personal favorite topics for today, habits. A little bit last time we talked about resolution, and I believe I said I'm not a big believer in resolutions. I'm more of a believer in habits because resolutions, they're very fickle compared to habits, which are already set in stone. You know, you really don't have to think about it. You know, habits are like it's autonomous, and you can just it's like a system. You know, I always think a system is better than something like a one-time deal.
Yep.
Well, with that in mind, let's talk about some. Let's start with some bad habits.
Bad habits. Yeah.
Hard to get rid of.
A very difficult one here, which is, this guy right here, our phones. Taking our phones everywhere, anywhere we go. One bad habit is, taking your phone to the bathroom. I find myself doing that quite a lot. I don't know how you are with that as well.
Do you? I try to do a little reading. Productive. No. So what I do is, like, if I do use the bathroom, I would usually go on Twitter, but I follow these accounts which are considered like fintech, financial technology industry. So I read on like, okay, what I need to know about the financial market. Okay, what's going on around the country. So that way it's not like just going on YouTube and watching like stupid videos. Like, so that's what I try to do.
You're finding the good in this sort of bad habit. Yeah, but I feel like, ever since these phones came out, it's just been something that we've been glued to, and it's something that we tend to just, overuse sometimes. And for me personally, I feel like my bad habit is having my phone on me every single time, and I'm constantly on like social media. And I mean, not just in addition to like my work having some sort of relation with social media. I also have my personal stuff as well that I'm constantly on, and that's something that I really want to work on. And, I'm trying to like condition myself to limit the amount of time that I spend on my phone. What's interesting about, Apple products, I don't know about like other phones, but it does keep track of the amount of time you spend on your phone. And what that has helped me with is to kind of make me realize, maybe I got to cut down a bit on this.
What are you averaging a week?
Average, I am at, let's take a look right now. For this week, it was up to like 7 hours on my phone. That's 7 hours of my life.
It's a work day.
It is crazy. So, I need to really work on this bad habit of using my phone, looking at my phone constantly, especially now that I'm working from home. Not only I'm looking at my computer screen, but I have my phone that I have right next to me. And I guess to kind of help me with that, which I will try to, is I guess, put my phone somewhere away from like me physically. So like maybe put it in my drawer and then check it maybe every hour just to see, maybe not every hour, but occasionally, and see if there's any important updates. And so
there are some apps that basically lock you out of your phone, or like at least they disable the selected apps that you want to choose. I forgot which app, but there are those that just like they just close you out, or they deny access to your social media. That means you can still text people and call people, but you can't access like the apps. So
I
that might
need
be
that.
another option.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, there's only a handful of apps that I use on my phone. I don't do gaming on my phone, so that's a good thing. Yeah, more so just social media and texting and talking on the phone. So yeah, it is a work in progress. That
How much of it is work related versus personal?
um
Out of 7 hours.
yeah. Well, let's say I work I work Monday through Friday, so I actually have to be on the social media account throughout the weekday. So I would say work related, it's more, let's say percentage wise, maybe 30 to 40%, and then personal stuff, it's 60%. Yeah. So yeah, work related stuff. I try to get it done as soon as possible, and not have to worry about that part. And then personal stuff, that's another thing. It's like, becomes overwhelming, and it does make me physically, mentally drained in some way, because especially, whatever's happening around the world now, we're just so glued to all of these updates and news that's happening. It's like,
oh yes, there has been a couple of crazy events since our last podcast. Storming of the Capitol. What else? Vaccine distributions.
Yeah, another variant. Yeah, so, it's only the beginning of the new year. And with, it's just the beginning. That's the thing. We're talking about habits, and we're, so glued to being, up to date with everything, that we have to really use this. So
I think one of the things I talked about last time briefly was about accessibility. And it can work both for positive, or you trying to attain a habit versus you trying to lose a habit. And if something is within reach, or something's within sight, or something that's very easy to pick up and hold, you're more likely going to do it. So I think last time I gave the example of like piano, for example. Like if you live in the first floor and your piano's on the second floor, it's not a high chance of you going up there to play the piano. And it's similar to your concept, like leaving the phone in a very inconvenient area. You have to go through you have to walk all the way there. You have to do this in order to access the phone, versus having it in front of you within arm's reach. So accessibility really plays into like, okay, trying to build a habit of not picking up the phone every time. And I think I need to start doing that.
I know. I think we just have to mentally condition ourselves to, just try not to look at our phone as much as possible.
Yeah. One of my friends has a cage that it's kind of like a bird cage almost, or like a treasure cove thing, where he puts his phone in there and he enters this like 10 digit passcode. So it's a pain to like go through all that. And it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like different variation of numbers. So even though it's in front of him, it's just the amount of work having to open up that chest. It in a way it counters like, okay, I want to use my phone, but I don't want to go through. It literally takes him like 2 to 3 minutes just to do it every single time.
I think every household needs that, especially especially households with kids.
Yeah. So another tip would be, if you want to lose a habit, make that habit really, really difficult to do. So another example I can think of is like having snacks or junk food around your house. Put that in a cabinet really, really high up. Lock it. You don't do whatever you can. To make it really, really hard to like access it. So that's another tip.
Yeah, it's kind of like the little bit of the opposite of what you said about the piano. Instead of to get rid of this habit, put it somewhere far and beyond.
Exactly. Yeah. And the reverse for the good habits.
Yeah.
You want to build a good habit, make it super accessible, make it really, really easy. You know, you want to do pull-ups, you know, put your pull-up right outside your door.
Oh yeah. Speaking of pull-ups, I bought a pull-up bar and it's like literally right outside my door. So every time I walk into the living room, boom, gotta do
every
some
time you look
pull-ups.
at your phone, 5 pull-up penalty.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta set some sort of rules that you need to abide by. So
Maybe one of the few times a penalty is, you know, good. You know, you punish the bad behavior and you reward the good behavior.
Reward, yeah. That's the thing, yeah. With all of these habits, you should have some sort of penalty and reward that will eventually help you condition into, you know, developing better habits.
Right. Because if you think about it, a habit is created anytime we feel good about something, right? And then since it feels good, we want to keep doing it. So for example, every time we look at our phone, you know, a rush of like dopamine comes in and like, oh, it feels good, you know. And then like since it feels good, your brain wants to do that again. It wants the same rush. Okay, let's do it again. Oh, I feel good. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. It eventually becomes a habit. You know, that's why working out for people it sucks, because in the beginning, you know, it sucks. It's hard. You're breathing hard. You're tired. Your muscles are sore. That's not exactly like the rush of dopamine or serotonin that people want. So, but after a while, you know, once you see the result, okay, I feel good. You know, I feel strong. Cardio's better, and that's when the habit kicks in. So maybe that's another tip. It's just whatever you do, whatever you want to become a habit, make it feel good.
Yeah.
So that's why the reward and punishment comes in. Like if something sucks, you're likely, you know, not gonna do it, because like if you touch a rose and you poke a thorn, you're not gonna touch that. You're not gonna do it again, right?
Unless you a little bit. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, I think, you know, our habits, it develops since we were babies. And, you know, we pick up these habits from our surroundings. And, you know, I have a 2-year-old niece that's, you know, on her phone already. Wow. And that's something I've been seeing a lot more with the younger generation. And they're just getting so adapted to these forms of technology that makes me wonder if I'm like considering this as a bad habit. Like I wonder how severe it'll get for like infants.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. Let's talk about that, because with the change in technology, of course, it's going to affect school and accessibility. How about let's talk a little bit of the pros. You know, I think that's important, because back in the day when we were going through school, like what do we have? Teachers would I'm sorry, but then like maybe it's the school I went to, but then like chalkboard and whiteboard and those are awesome, but sometimes it's just good to pull up an article or like use your iPad and just research that. Okay, you know, get straight to the point. And sometimes I need clarification, or I need a video or something explain to me what's going on. Great. You know, that's when technology is really, really good. Do you have any other pros about, you know, the rise in technology as far as education wise?
I think, you know, when it comes to like even taking notes, all of that, you know, before we would have these pens and pencils. I mean, which we still use today, of course, but you know, with like our phones and laptops, it's easier to take quicker notes. I agree. So yeah, that's a pro to it. And yeah, I try to balance out both. So
I have really ugly handwriting, so taking notes on the iPad is a game changer, especially if you're reading a book and then you highlight something. And then, you know, I wonder what's that passage I was looking for. On the iPad, it saves all, especially in Evernote, it saves all your highlighted. Okay, I was looking for this. I was looking for a quote. It instantly shows you, or like any
Yeah,
keywords.
that's the magic of it. It's yeah, something that we adjusted to so quickly because it was just makes our life simpler.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
So.
agree. And then there's also a whole bunch of apps to help you learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's especially for language. I know you're trying to learn language, and
Yep.
of course, nothing will beat in person. Nothing
Yep.
will be in person.
For sure.
But sometimes you don't have accessibility to that in person. That's why there's online coaching, and the other language apps like do
Mm-hmm.
do Duolingo.
Duolingo, Babbel. Yeah. So yeah,
And
it doesn't beat the one-on-one conversations.
yeah, but it all starts with it goes back to habits, right? You want to get better, you just gotta practice over and over again and build that habit. And I think that's something that the educational learning apps they do very well. They know how to um, use the power of those habits and keep it accessible, keep it simple. They know how to use all that in order to help us learn better. So I think that's definitely a major pro. I wish
Yep.
those apps were there when I was going through Japanese 202. That was
Mm-hmm.
a tough class. That was a tough class.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, there's definitely pros and cons to technology, and yeah. I mean, if you have any other comments on how technology affects you and your habits, yeah, let us know in the comments. Definitely want to hear from all of you. So
I can tell you right now, like a con would be like it gets so easy to go down the rabbit hole. It's so easy. You get distracted. I didn't realize yesterday or a couple of days ago, yesterday too, like I was about to go to sleep, right? And it was like 11:30-ish. And I was just chilling on my phone. Let me just relax a little bit, watch some stupid videos or something. Next thing I knew, 1 o'clock.
Hey, yeah. I hate when that happens. Like, I tell myself that too. Like, oh, maybe it's time to go to sleep.
It's definitely my fault, but it's so easy. It's just time flies when you're on the phone, and like all the videos are autoplay.
Yeah, that's the thing I was gonna point out. Like, for anybody that has those like Netflix, Hulu, once an episode is done, you don't have to do anything. It just goes on to the next one, and it makes you kind of forget what time it is, and yeah, you're constantly just glued, and then you don't know what happens next.
They have mastered the art of trying to build habits into you. They make it so easy, so accessible.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to click on a video and it'll play already.
It's like it's crazy.
So with that in mind, we really have to be aware. That's the first step. Like yesterday, like a couple, and just looking back, it's like, okay, now that I know I will get addicted to like staying up late and be on the phone, I need to do something. The awareness is the first step, because you don't have awareness, you're just flowing in the river. And then doing something about it. Can I move my phone elsewhere? Can I use one of those apps that lock me out? Could I use someone to hold me accountable? Like have accountability partners. Hey, hope you're not staying up late on your phone. Maybe we need to do that.
Check on each other.
We'll report back next week on the results.
Do a case study.
Oh, for real? Like that'll be a challenge for us. It's like, could we talk about it? Let's go ahead and do it, and then let the people listen, see if it works. Or are we just that weak-willed and undisciplined in this aspect of not sleeping early?
Yeah, discipline is key.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Starting today. I will send you a text at 11:30 telling you to go to sleep.
11:30. Set your alarm. Set your alarm right away. 11:30. Wow. How about you? Any habits? Bad habits?
Oh, habits. Besides the phone one, I think it has to be getting emotional, and I feel like anytime someone says something negative or something bad happens, it's like an automatic response for me to like almost have a negative stimuli of like reaction or emotion. For example, I think the easiest example would be like I'm driving, right, and then someone cuts me off, or they honk at me or whatever, and there's that instant negative stimuli, and it doesn't do anything for me. It just gets me riled up. It wastes emotional energy, physical energy, and then it just stays with me throughout the whole day. Or even, if someone
so it
says,
affects,
yeah. So even if someone says something negative about me, and it's like some random stranger or someone I don't really care about, it just kind of sticks with me, and then it's like automatic for me. And then, it just affects my mood and affects my decision making when it shouldn't have.
How do you cope with that or resolve that?
Now, recently I started doing the awareness test. It's like, okay, I am aware that I am feeling a certain way because of whatever happened. And the next thing I do is I ask myself a couple questions. I ask myself, is this really that important? And usually 99% of the time it's no. And if it's that important, then why do you care about it? Why are you letting something or someone so trivial, or someone that something or someone that doesn't matter affect you in the most profound ways? And then once I ask myself that, it's like, oh yeah, it's true. Why do I let this thing or this person affect me? It doesn't matter. And then usually I get a little better. And then another question I ask myself is, okay, if this person or this thing does matter to you, would it matter in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks? Is this short-term problem going to have tremendous effect on my long-term? Does it need to be resolved right now? Do I need to expend all this energy towards? Usually, like the answer to all these questions are 99% times no. And then I'm like, okay, I'm then, and then I just come to an actualization of like, okay, I'm just tripping. This problem doesn't really matter at all.
How are you with like criticism?
Okay, I've come to learn to appreciate it. Keep in mind that not all criticism is the same. But what I've come to learn is I just say thank you. No, I appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me to give me that criticism. Because sometimes even criticism coming from someone you hate, oh, that's the worst. Or someone, but they see it from a different point of view. Since they don't like you, they can be more honest. They see your weak points more. But of course, you have to vest that criticism, because sometimes they're just coming out of a place of hate or dislike for you. But for me, most of the time, actually, not most of the time, like 30-40% of the time, there's some truth in that. I'm not sure you any examples of like someone giving you criticism and someone you don't like.
I think I brought it up like episodes before, but it was more of like someone who was experienced in the workplace, been working there for a long time, telling me as a newcomer to do it this way. And I guess my performance was bad according to their perspective. And just because they were in that company for a long time. So kind of looking down in some way. So taking that criticism, I just said, oh yeah, let me try work on that, and taking it in a positive route.
Did it improve your performance?
It did. Well, taking that criticism, took it with kind of like a grain of salt,
right?
And I just moved forward and pushed through, and that was basically it.
That's the thing, right? You don't have to take the entire advice. You can take bits and pieces of it. For example, at work, like I was typing out this email, right? And to me, it was fine. It's super casual because everyone else in the email was casual. And then this one person, she emails me on the side without like all the CCs. She's like, "Hey, I noticed your email had a lot of grammatical errors. I think it would be. She didn't say wise. Would you mind cleaning it up next time, or like pre-reading it?"
Oh.
I think I didn't have like the hello whatever, and I didn't have an ending tag like how you usually say thank you, comma, and then your name. Like I left that out because everybody knows who I am already.
Yeah.
It's like we've been working for years. I don't need like a thank you and whatever.
Oh
like,
man.
But she was right because I shouldn't get too comfortable just in case I do send out emails to clients and people I haven't met. I shouldn't be that casual, which does lead me to my next point of opportunity. I saw her the same day and I just asked her like, "Hey, I saw your email. Like, could you give me more tips and advice on like my grammatical error, like email etiquette and all that?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, sure." Super nice about it.
That's good.
I gave her the seat of authority instead of the seat of clashing. So that way I improved my relationship. I turned a bad, bitter moment, which I thought it was because I was pretty bitter. Like,
I mean, it could have gotten worse from there. It could have been.
I agree. No, I could have internalized that. Like, she doesn't know jack. This is so stupid. Why are we doing this super formal way when we all know each other for years? This is really a waste of like, time and like finger energy.
And we're adults, so it's we have to kind of come together and try to sort things out.
Yeah, so I definitely had to take a step back, ask myself those questions, and like, I even asked myself, is this person coming from a place of hate, or is this person coming from like a place of trying to help? And I think she had the best intentions, like you did with that coworker that's higher up. I try to spin it as like, okay, this person's trying to help me, so that way I don't get clouded by bitterness and hate and frustration from the beginning. I'm kind of neutral, and I can now gauge it. I think that was a much better idea, and now we have a better relationship, and she gives me like more tips and advice. I'm like, okay, cool. So again,
good conclusion, positive conclusion to that.
So speaking of a positive thing, any positive habits that you picked up?
Positive habits, quite a lot. Well, actually, I have, I made like a small list. So like, one different one would be, when I've been working out recently, and I have been going to the gym, of course, with my mask on. Oh, that's one habit, keeping my mask on. But cleaning up after myself, whether it's at the gym, cleaning up the equipment, whenever I'm done with everything, and just trying to practice good hygiene. Because we learned that from when we were younger. Practice good hygiene, wash your hands, sanitize, and it really evolved into today. Like we're constantly trying to be clean and practice good hygiene because it's important, not just because it's for our health, but it's for the safety of everyone around us. So that's one critical habit.
Let me just say, I really appreciate you putting back the weights. It's a very underdone thing at the gym. It's like people just leave their weights everywhere.
I get pissed off when that happens, or like when they leave their mat on, like, their mat just right there on the floor. I'm like,
really? I remember one time we were I was benching. I was about to bench, and then like all the benches were taken. And then this one guy leaves, and he's a really big guy. He left like 4 plates on each side. Like, dude,
oh man,
take that out. Nah, it's just proper etiquette. It just helps everybody, helps the gym employees,
Yeah.
keep everything organized. Because what's the worst thing then? Like you're trying to reach a 45 and there's like 25s and 35s in the way.
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing this one individual grabbing as many dumbbells as he could at his bench, and yeah, he
40.
didn't. Yeah, and he didn't clean up after himself, and then of course the next person had to clean up. I mean, I told the person, you got to clean this bench before you take it. So, yeah, I think that's one habit that, I mean, not just me personally have been so good at so far, but for others to, keep in mind and be considerate of other people in that facility. So clean up after yourself. I guess another habit would be drinking more water, water or tea, and
I
staying away.
concur.
Yeah, and staying away from like sugary drinks. Yeah, because water is life. Water, it helps you clean your system. So, how many bottles of water do you drink a day?
Oh, me.
Or yeah.
So I have a routine. I try to get in at least a liter before 9 o'clock, and then I'll get probably another liter and a half before lunch, and then after lunch I'll try to get in another liter and a half. So 4 liters ish before I finish work, and then throughout the day I'll take sips here and there, but I'll probably add up to another liter. So I'm looking at around like 5 liters a day. I used to just drink it all at one time, but that was a terrible idea. And now I space it out. Like every hour, I have to drink at least half a liter or something.
Yeah, same. I'm like, I gotta at least. Water is basically my thing to go to. So no soda, no juice, all of that.
I'm fortunate at work. They have like these stations where you can just grab water. I saw my previous job. They didn't have accessible clean water, so it was absolutely miserable. Like it just changes your whole attitude when you're just like hydrated.
Yeah, it does. So, but yeah, so any good habits that you picked up or have been doing for a while?
So I read this article about gratitude, right? And a good way to build relationships and to show appreciation is when you're thanking someone, be really specific about how you thank someone. And it's more memorable. Research shows that you will build a stronger relationship. So that's why nowadays when I thank people, which is quite often, I like to tell them what they did specifically and how that made me feel. So, for example, I can just do it right now. So we were supposed to do this podcast at 8, and I thought it was 9. So thank you very much, Kenny, for having the patience, and the care to allow me to wake up and really
flexible.
hydrate. Because a lot of times, like people, like, I don't know if this is a work thing, but then like sometimes I have so much to do. I'm like a few minutes late, and people are just making these asinine comments of like, "Oh, finally, everyone can join us." Like, really?
Oh my God, I hate that.
Really? It's like it's a couple minutes. Relax. You're on salary too, so I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not on the clock.
Well.
So yeah, I try to be super appreciative and be super specific. Like anytime someone does something for me, like for my mom, it's like I tell her like, "Oh, I really like the way you cook that pork and the way you use this kind of seasoning. It just brings up the flavor compared to like the last time you did it, which is maybe that's a bad example, but the way I phrased it was like both dishes were good, but the way you did it specifically, the way you cooked it, and then the amount of time you cooked it and the spice you used took the dish to another level. And now she's gonna do the same thing, right? Because
perfect.
you tell people what you like, and they're gonna do more of it.
Basically, yeah, that's how it works. They need that, confidence as well.
They need that rush of dopamine so they can build their habit. It reminds me of another uh, thing that I had. Sometimes, you have a whole bunch of friends over, right? And they assume that you like movies or like puzzles or whatever. If nobody speaks up, right? Nobody speaks up. They're gonna assume that everybody likes movies and puzzles. But no, let's say if I don't like movies and puzzles, I need to speak up
Mm-hmm.
and say something. So it's kind of like it's the inverse of like
Yeah.
specifically thanking someone. This way is more specifically telling them, hey, thank you for hosting. As much as I like the company, let's not do movies next time. Let's do this.
Finding alternatives. So yeah, that's a pretty good habit. All of that.
Yeah. So communication. So in a way, you're in charge of how you treat yourself for habit wise, and what you allow people to treat yourself, what you allow other people to treat you. So you can control those two aspects in life. It's what I think.
Preach.
Facts.
Yeah. Well, these are pretty interesting habits that we kind of listed down, and it's definitely a work in progress, and we're going to try our best to continue all of these good habits. And
so before we close, are there any habits that you're trying to build right now in the works, where do you have any struggles with this new habit, or it's on its way?
Okay, something that I really want to work on, habit wise, it's to be more punctual with everything, when it comes to meeting friends, when it comes to just deadlines, all of that. Being punctual kind of makes me, I feel like will help me a lot more as I pursue whatever I want to do in my life.
You're on Hawaiian time, huh?
I basically am,
For those listening that don't know, Hawaiian time means, you're on your own clock, usually pretty late.
So maybe about like 10, 15 minutes late. So yeah, being more punctual is something that I want to work on, and not being afraid to ask for what I want. So, asking for what you want, it doesn't hurt. It's like the worst thing you could get is no.
That's true.
Yeah. So you might as well just ask and kind of know if you get it or not. So yeah.
That's actually a topic we should discuss. We should talk about in the next episode. I do have some research on the science and the history and the culture about asking what you want, and it is deeply rooted on how we were raised. So that
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
It's definitely an episode for the next one. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up with your recommendation. And remember, we have switched it up. It's more of like a reflection. You can do reflection. You can do a recommendation. Actionable items. It could be a follow from last week, etc., etc.
Okay, so jumping into it, it's a new year, and a lot of people are figuring out like how they can network and all of that. It's kind of tough these days, but there's always virtual events that you can attend and all of that. So my recommendation for today is to try to find an organization that you might want to join. Scott and I, we recently kind of talked about what organizations would be good to reach out to and all of that. So, if I think doing your research on organizations that you feel have like a good mission, yeah, try to jump on them and yeah, find ways to network with people in that organization. So
Yeah, let me know.
nonprofit, yeah, I
Let,
will.
let me let me know. Yeah, we definitely need to meet new people because
Mhm.
one of our goals for staying connected is to have one guest each
Mhm.
month. I think that's
Yeah.
doable. We have some guests lined up so far,
So
so
stay tuned for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. So yeah, we'll need to continue spreading the Staying Connected name and
Mhm.
keep talking about all these topics. I'm excited for 2021. Okay.
Right.
My recommendation, since we're all talking about habits, um, is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a book that I've read last year. Probably one of the best habits book that I've read so far. It talks about some of the key points that we're talking about today about accessibility, um, punishment, reward, and like a little bit about the science about habits. So highly recommend that. I've definitely taken some of the principles that I've learned from that book and applied to my life, which I need to apply to my phone, which we will hold ourselves accountable
Oh my.
update next week
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
11:30. 11:30.
Yes.
I'm waiting for that
11:30.
text.
Uh, all right. But with that in mind, things have
Yep.
been a little crazy.
It's
Stay
been
safe,
crazy.
everyone. Stay healthy.
Yeah, we will continuously tell everybody that, tell you guys that. Um, yeah, we just want to emphasize, it's a new year, but still we're still dealing with a pandemic, and we're just trying our best to push through. And thank you guys for tuning in, always. And you can always stay connected with us on social media. We're on pretty much all platforms. In addition to that, we're on Spotify as well. So follow us, listen to us wherever, whenever. And don't forget to subscribe and comment when you got a chance and hit that like button, thumbs up.
Yes.
And until then, yes, continue to stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you again next week.
Take care.
Take care.